Hello. Ugh, I have so much I want to say to you, and I think I'm going to need to break up what I want to say into different videos. So, right now, I'm going to focus on something that's been really alive in my heart today and um, within the past few weeks that I've been taking this online course called White Awake Before We Were White. It's an anti-racism and anti-oppression course. And going into it, I felt like I had a pretty decent grasp on what it was going to be about and what I would learn. And I grew up in LA, which is a pretty diverse place. I myself come from both a European and a Mexican heritage, and so I was thinking, okay, like I've got a good grasp on this kind of thing, but oh my goodness, this course is about so much more than I thought it would be. It's we're really getting into the truth about what is going on in this world, in this time, and has been going on for centuries, millennia even. The truth is that we have, as people, been oppressed for a very, very long time. And whiteness was very much invented. It's not real. At this point, it's become real as a concept that has been used to perpetuate division, oppression, white supremacy, capitalism, for so many reasons and in so many ways that take a lot of studying to understand. And in all the reading I've been doing, all the videos I've been watching, all the discussions we've been having in our webinars, I'm understanding now that because we weren't taught these things in school and we were fed lies upon lies throughout our education and in our everyday lives that we live, in advertisements that we see, in what media tells us, certain media, a lot of our media, really, and what we tell each other, the stories we tell ourselves and to our communities, our families. And so much of it is without the intention of perpetuating white supremacy, but it comes built in. And that's just it. We don't understand the systems that we are supporting because we weren't educated about them. We were just told that these are the only ways that we as human beings can live on this earth now. And I encourage all of you to take an anti-racism, anti-oppression course. Specifically, I think Wide Awake is a really good group or organization. I'm not sure what they call themselves, but I would recommend them because it's really wonderful how they don't focus on making people feel guilty or if you have white skin, then you're the problem. That's not really what the course is about. The course is about understanding what whiteness is, the privilege that comes with that, and why the privilege exists in the first place. And also, we are looking at our own ancestral trauma as white individuals. How, and that process also doesn't negate the oppression of people of color. We definitely dive into that as well. That's a huge piece of the course, and something that's really been impacting me that was unexpected is just tapping into the ancestral trauma of European people who were ripped away from the commons, the land that was tended by people collectively. And the fact that, when the technology when ship technology advanced, the trade systems, the global trade systems were able to become just that global. in a way that the world hadn't seen before. And when that happened, the wealthy elite realized, oh, hey, these commons that we run through a feudalist system are actually more valuable to us if we tear the people from the land, rid them of their culture, force them into really low-paying labor and really harsh conditions. Then we can use that land to, have a bunch of sheep so we can mass produce wool and sell that wool overseas or in another country, or just in a way that exploits the land and the people. And people were very intentionally taken from place and from culture. And in this process, as people were brought to the New World in the time when the 13 colonies were still colonies, and this land, Turtle Island, the US, was being colonized, still is being colonized. It's not like colonization has ended in any way. People were shipped here. People who came as indentured servants and people who came as slaves from Africa, and people who were made to be slaves that were already on this land. The wealthy elite here realized pretty soon, after groups of indentured servants and slaves united, because they understood that they were greater in number and in power than the wealthy elite that ruled them here. They had some rebellions, Bacon's Rebellion being the most well-known, and I believe the largest one that happened at that time. It scared the wealthy elite. They began to think about the fact that, oh crap, there are a lot of them and there's not a lot of us, and what can we do to suppress them further? And so they invented whiteness. And this is something that I had heard before, but I hadn't really understood in the depth that this course has allowed me to understand it in. There's so many articles and videos that have enlightened me to the reality of capitalism and how it is rooted in racism and white supremacy, and how it is perpetuated to this day through these systems. Oh, and it's so deeply saddening, because looking at what's going on politically, I can see how it has infiltrated every aspect of our lives. And people have been so deeply conditioned to believe that capitalism is the way, when really capitalism is raping our earth and our cultures. So many cultures have been, all but destroyed, and some completely destroyed. And it's so sad. It's so sad that our very own humanness, our connection to the earth and to ourselves and to one another has been destroyed by capitalism. And we're here rooting for it. We're rooting for people that are telling us that they're here to help us, when really they're continuing to rape the earth and her resources. They're continuing to exploit people for their labor. And people just don't have the education in what has happened here and what continues to happen today. And our power lies in that information. So really what I'm saying is, I really think that we need to do the work now. We really, more than anything, need to do the work to find the truth, to understand the truth that has been the basis of our lives since before we got here. It's been the truth of the reality of all of our ancestors. And I know I have ancestors that were indigenous to this land, not the land that I'm specifically on today, but the land of the Americas, of Mexico. And I also have ancestors that were the Spaniards that came and colonized, that were the English that came, and I have an ancestor that was the governor of Connecticut. And apparently the song Yankee Doodle was written after him. So I know that I have people in my lineage that were not on the right side of history. And I feel the pain of both sides, the trauma of both sides very alive in my body. And so many of us hold all of these traumas in every cell of our bodies. And we don't know what to do with it because we don't understand it or where it comes from, because we have been robbed of the truth. But we have tools. We have the internet. And I know the internet can be a debilitating resource if we let it use us. But we can also turn around and use it as a tool. So in this time, I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet in the way that we do now. And in this time, we need to come to understand how to use this tool as a resource to come closer to the truth, to understand the times that we're in. And once we have that, we have our power back. And these systems can't defeat us when we come together in numbers and realize that whiteness was invented to divide us. Whiteness was invented to tell one group of people that they somehow are more valuable than another, when it's biologically not true. It's not a biological thing whatsoever. It is invented to keep groups of people oppressed and divided against each other. These lies are so rooted in our bodies and in our culture that it's going to take great work to unravel them. And that is our work in this time. It's not easy. It's not something you can learn about through this video or through reading an article with like 10 ways in which blah, 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 blah. You need to do your research. You need to read. You need to watch things. You need to listen to the voices of the oppressed. You need to understand where your privilege and oppression comes from. And it hurts. It fucking hurts. Yeah, and we don't have the elders. We don't have the culture to hold that for us. So we have to create it ourselves. We have to become the elders that we would have loved to have had growing up to teach us these truths. So please, please, please do your work. Do your work to learn the truth. It's all there. Don't believe everything you think, because a lot of what you think has been manipulated. It's been fed to you. And it takes a lot to understand that the things that you think are true are not true. It takes a lot of humility. And I'm not going to sit here pretending like I have discovered all the truth either. I still have so much to learn and know that it's going to take more than one lifetime, one generation to unravel this. I'm using this time in this lifetime that I have here on this earth right now to do that work so that I can pass it on to those that are here now and those that have yet to come. So hopefully this can be some inspiration for you to find ways to find that truth for yourselves, for one another, for the earth, for all living beings. Please reach out to me if you're curious about resources on how to do this. I have lots of them. And I know there are more, so many more that I have yet to discover. I would love to hear if you have some that I might be interested in. Let's do this work together. Let us join forces. Let us uncover the truth. Let us live in let us live in love and light and truth. Much love to all of you.